What is up, everybody? It is Alex from Heavy New York calling from Zoom again, and this time we are here with Tomas of the almighty Bloodbath and Lick. Thank you so much for being here today, man. It's great to have you here.
Hi, Alex. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, anytime.
Really nice.
Anytime. So, Survival of the Sickest coming out September 9th of this year. Finally getting a brand new Bloodbath album and your first album with the band as well. First question's always first. Could the first singles that we heard off of this album, Zombie, Inferno, and Carved, maybe serve as a good representation of what's in store for the entirety of Survival of the Sickest? Or is that just scratching the surface of what's to come?
Oh, it's a bit Zombie Inferno is like the one-of-a-kind song that sounds way more thrashier, if you like. But there's a lot of stuff going on this album that's really gonna be awesome. So, but of course, it's all in the style of death metal, so it's not it's nothing crazy, but still a bunch of really good songs, and I'm really proud of the album, how it turned out. So
yeah. One thing I've always noticed about Bloodbath, as opposed to other like Swedish death metal bands, whether it be At the Gates or In Flames, etc., is that I've always considered Bloodbath to be kind of like the smorgasbord of death metal, because there are songs that kind of have that melodic death metal style that we heard in Sweden, but then there's also songs that sound like that came from Tampa, Florida, like in the Morbid Angel style. So it almost, is it fair to say that with like every song that you play in Bloodbath, does it almost require like a new guitar technique in a way?
No, not really. It's fair. It's a lot of right hand thrash things going on in Bloodbath, and I think it's always been, from when we play live now, all the songs I learned from the Breeding Death EP over to the Arrow of Satan. This is quite the same technique and same playing style. Of course, different songs, but I think it's the same, really. I don't recall changing my guitar technique anyway, but I've played death metal my whole life, so basically, or some kind of metal-ish thing. So there's,
When it came to joining up with Bloodbath for the making of Survival of the Sickest, were you looking at like the earlier albums such as Resurrection Through Carnage or The Fathomless Mastery and being like, okay, this is how I have to play, or being that you've played with so many other bands, were you kind of allowed to bring a little bit of your own mix into the songwriting for Survival of the Sickest?
Good question. But I didn't listen to the old albums too. When I spoke to Anders and Jonas, they were like, we're going in the more direction of like Florida, Morbid Angel and all that stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. So I just tried some few riffs, sent it to Anders and Jonas, and I was like, yeah, that's great. Come on, and then it's all, my main inspiration is like early Morbid Angel, Autopsy, and early Death. It's for my songwriting here and also some Sepultura-ish, like from Arise or something like that. But that's my main, for the songs that I came up with on this album.
What is your favorite Death album, actually? I love talking about that.
The first one.
Oh, really?
The other one, yeah, Scream Bloody Gore. Otherwise it gets too technical for me. I don't like it, really.
So not really.
I got stuck in for like 10 years ago, I was stuck in like the technical, so I'm so fed up with that, stuff.
So not too into the sound of Perseverance.
I actually have that album, and I thought it was quite cool when it came out, but then now it's like, sorry all Death fans, but not too into it, no.
When it came to Bloodbath, were you, being that you mentioned you played death metal your whole life, so is there any similarities in terms of the playing or maybe even the creative process with Bloodbath as opposed to Lick or Nail or even like Chaosis, your earlier work and stuff?
Okay, yeah. The main difference is that Bloodbath is not a rehearsing band, to say. Like I've been always, I've lived in a fucking rehearsals my whole life. It seems like, I always rehearse stuff when we get it and try it out as a band and see if it's playable or if it's doable. But in Bloodbath, make it at home, program drums, and then we have a song.
Okay.
And that's the total difference. I've never really done that before. Of course, I've made demos of songs at home where I just use Easy Drummer and drag drag and drop drum beats and stuff like that, but never this serious. Like,
Did you unlock maybe like did you learn like a lot of new ideas or methods of expression for the making of this album that maybe you could bring back to Lick or any of your projects as well, or do you want to try?
Yeah,
maybe?
of course. I made 2 tracks on this with Jonas, and that was really cool. We had a really good time. We were at Jonas' place, and he was making the drums and I was making the riffs, and that was really, I learned a lot of stuff from that.
Awesome.
That's cool. Yeah.
Now, I don't know if maybe this is the most appropriate question to ask you, but I do got to ask this to see if there was maybe any talk about this. But this year is the 20th anniversary of the debut of Bloodbath, Resurrection Through Carnage. Is there any talk about maybe doing a celebration of that album for this upcoming tour, if you heard anything?
No, I haven't heard any. I didn't even know that, so no, I haven't heard anything. No one's been talking about it, really.
Okay, all right. Just had to get that question out of the way.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but I haven't heard anything, so I don't know.
Now,
Cool.
Now, in between, between joining Bloodbath, you've definitely had a very, very busy couple years in the world of metal. I mean, I remember listening to Misanthropic Breed in the heart of lockdown, and definitely an incredible album. But with Lick, what would you say is sort of like the mindset in Lick? Because you mentioned like Bloodbath is not very much of a rehearsal band. Would you say that Lick is maybe a little bit more organic, since it seems like you kind of are doing everything at once in a way?
Yeah, totally. I would say that. Yeah.
Are you expressing like different sides of yourself? Like, what could we see differently about you and Lick or Nail as opposed to Bloodbath?
Oh, a different me? No, not really. I'm the same guy. I don't. It's just. I think that the music is different. That's the only difference. I think is just the main difference that I would say. That's the only thing I think is the music is different, and I'm writing music is usually what I try to do when I'm not working and stuff like that. But yeah.
In order to like get that inspiration to write music, does inspiration come out of the blue, or do you kind of have to like put yourself in a specific environment in order to sort of feel that inspiration to cultivate ideas?
Sometimes I have to do that, yes, and sometimes it just something happened and you take out your phone and you record it, and then get home and try to realize that on the guitar. Is that how you say it? Realize that?
Yeah.
Make it, make in the guitar. And sometimes you just have to sit at home, just program some drums, and then start riffing on that. It's different, and yeah. And with Leak, if it's in rehearsal, it can just be some drums going on, and then you have riff coming up, directly. And sometimes it takes forever to get the song right, but you have to.
Well, when I listen to Lick, I just don't see thrash or death metal. I also see some punk incorporated in there. I see a lot of rawness in there. Like, I could see you playing with like a Sick of It All or a Cro-Mags just as much as I could see you play with like a Bloodbath or an At the Gates or something like that. Is it fair to say that both you and the members of Lick all have maybe different musical inspirations in a way?
Oh yeah, sure. There are lots of different inspirations, of course. I listen to a lot of different music. I'm very, specific of what I want in different genres. The other guys in Leak and also Bloodbath, we listen to a lot of different music, not just mainly death metal, but it's death metal that brought us all together, in all the bands, and that's why we do it, because of the love of death metal. So yeah.
And what about with now when we listen to From Shit to Salvation or Ghost Road Blues? Like, is that also a different method of expression as well?
Oh, of course, in that case, it's the combination of the members. The drummer is like a rock and roll guy, which adds to the rock and roll aspect of that, and the singer is like a punk-ish guy, and it was just asking him like, "Can you sound like this if by singing?" And it sounded great when he did that. So okay, that's cool. We do it like this. So it's all combination of all these different, that we wanted to do something special. I don't know. Yeah. And that's how it turned out. It's like rock and roll meets Pantera or something. I don't know really. But, yeah.
Was Chaosis your first band?
No, I had lots of different bands before, but the first band that actually recorded something that I was proud of. I've always been, recording something, then like listening to it and said, this is shit. Recording something new, listening to it, it's shit again. Recording something new, listening to it, it's shit. It's an ongoing process with me, and I don't know what I don't remember what it's called. It's what do we call it? The latest something. We just did a demo of it. It was before Spotify and all that stuff, so we just did a demo, and that's the first time I was ever like, this is actually really good.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Yeah.
And from that, from that on, it started. Yeah.
And circling back to Bloodbath, when it comes to like playing again earlier material, like even going back to the Arrow of Satan is Drawn, do you maybe have a different attachment to playing that material, or feel differently playing that material as opposed to playing stuff off of the Survival of the Sickest that you wrote with them?
Yeah, of course it will be, of course. But they're like, you can be, this is a song that I've been working with, and that's always, it's cool. It makes me proud, but also it's really cool to play those old songs. I love playing Breeding Death is one of my favorite with a thrashy opening riff. It's really, really cool to play live. It's always this groovy intro, and it makes me really happy to play it. So in that sense, I don't really care, but still it's fun, of course, to play songs that you're involved in, if you get where I'm going.
Definitely. Well, I've always said that Bloodbath is basically like the ultimate death metal supergroup with all the projects that you've all been involved with, and some of them are, Catatonia sounds nothing like Bloodbath, and I know he's not in the band anymore, but Opeth sounds nothing like Bloodbath in a way. So like, would you think that maybe all of you coming from different backgrounds helps the songwriting process for Bloodbath in a way?
Yeah, of course. There's a lot of that talking about the riffs. This is a Morbid Angel riff, and this is the Entombed riff, and this is the whatever riff. There's always that talk about which band. Maybe Jonas and Anders listen to some different death metal band that I never heard. When they come up with, this is the riff from this band. No. And I have other views on. Okay, that's a cool riff, and all this mixed together, very, very, very good,
Yeah, definitely.
And I don't know if I'm answering your questions, but I think so.
No, you definitely did, And the final question I just wanted to ask you is on a technical level with your guitar playing. Is there any theoretical aspects behind your guitar playing that you're thinking of, or are you on the complete self-taught side?
Oh, I have actually gone for like several years and been taught guitar in something called Kulturskolan that we have in Sweden, that you can learn from very early age to like when you're 20-ish or something. Then you're out. You have to pay for or something. I don't know exactly the rules, but so I've been learning guitar, but I never learned guitar playing. I always wanted to play. How to play this song, and the guitar teacher had to take it out by ear, and the next session we went through that song. So I never really learned guitar like that. I use the guitar for writing music. If there's something, I'm not really a guitar player, I would say. I play guitar, yes, and I really enjoy playing guitar, but I never really practiced more than while making the music. If I need to learn downstrokes I have been practicing a lot. I have to sit in front of TV and just
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't really practice. If I take out the guitar, I write music with it. basically.
Yeah, and it sounds like because I feel like sometimes music theory can like maybe enslave you, and like you write a good song, but like, oh well, it doesn't follow this sort of set of rules, so I can't work it. So I can only imagine how many great song ideas were thrown away just because they didn't follow a theoretical aspect.
There's no music theory in Bloodbath songs
At all. All right. That's good to know.
No, it's just, you take the ugly notes and try to make them fit and make it, I don't know the theories about behind that. Maybe there is or maybe there isn't, but you try to, put in those weird notes and make it sound audible and cool. It's a lot of chromatic stuff and yeah.
Definitely.
I don't know. I'm not that good at music theory.
Nobody is, except for Tadia. But
at least guitarists aren't. Yeah. Piano players are really good at music theory, but guitarists, we suck generally.
And one other thing I wanted to ask you is just on the topic of death metal, because I really feel like the last couple of years has brought some of the greatest new death metal bands, from Creeping Death to Frozen Soul. Not a new band, but the last Ulcerate album was incredible. Has there been any sort of like new death metal bands, big or small, that you've been been really into lately as well?
Yeah, I've mostly been listening to friends bands because it's really funny. There's some guys I think they just released their first album. They're young. I think they're in the 20s something, from Stockholm here in Sweden. And they're called Catacomba, and they're really, really, really cool guys, and also really good musicians. I hate them for being so young and so good. Or not hate them, I envy them because they are really, really good and make really cool songs. So, yeah.
What are they called?
Catacomba.
Catacomba.
Like catacomb, but Catacomba. Yeah.
That's an awesome name. I definitely got to check that one out. Thank you.
Yeah, you got to check them out. They're really, really good, actually. So, yeah.
Definitely going to go down the rabbit hole of the underground soon. Is there just anything else with Bloodbath that you would like to promote? Like, is there a chance Bloodbath could come to the States? Because the last couple of...
it's always... I don't know. This is like a curse for us going there.
I know.
The first time when we were going there... I think me and Jonas, we got our passports with the visas in the day after we were going to go.
Wow.
So it was like, what, there's no idea for us going with passports to USA and then try to get in. So
I was supposed to see Bloodbath in 2018. I had the ticket, canceled. I was supposed to see them again in 2019, canceled. And then 2020, everybody caught on and started canceling everything. So, but
now it's like we never even we applied for visas, but they never answered anything. We never heard anything back from that. It's a shame because it would be really cool. I was really looking forward going this year, but nothing happened. So yeah.
Never say never, though. It'll happen one day. But
I really hope so. That would be so cool.
Is there just anything else with the release of Survival of the Sickest that you would like to promote in terms of upcoming tours or videos, or anything else you'd like to promote?
We don't have any upcoming tours, unfortunately, yet. There's busy schedules for all the other guys, I guess. We have talked about some stuff, but nothing is etched in stone.
Okay.
So I can't say anything yet, unfortunately.
All right, fair enough.
But I would listen to the album, play it loud, play it safe, and just have a good time while listening to it.
Hell yeah. Well,
that's what I would say. Yeah.
Couldn't have said it better myself, but thank you so much. Everybody, Tomas of Bloodbath and Lick, be sure to check out Survival of the Sickest, coming out on Napalm Records September 9th. We will see you next time on Heavy New York.